I've spent centuries watching the world from the peripheral vision of humanity. I've been the crow on the fence, the stray dog in the alley, and the thing parents tell their kids about to make them eat their vegetables. But when I saw Ballister Boldheart's face on that digital billboard in the rain, something clicked. He didn't look like a killer. He looked like someone whose entire world had just been shoved into a wood chipper. He was a monster by decree of the state, and I'm a monster by trade. I found his hideout in the guts of the city. It smelled like wet concrete, ozone, and cheap instant ramen.
That was weird.
Hey, boss.
He was sitting there in the dim light, staring at the stump of his arm where the Institute's justice had severed it. He looked pathetic, honestly, but there was a spark of something, a stubbornness. "I'm here for the sidekick audition," I told him, popping a bubble of gum. He didn't want a sidekick. He wanted to go back to his old life. He wanted to be the good guy again. I had to explain it to him. The kingdom doesn't want you to be the good guy anymore. They need a villain. They need someone to fear so they can feel safe behind their big, shiny walls. I told him we could be legendary. I told him we could flip the script. But Ballister, he's a slow learner. He kept talking about the law and clearing his name. It was adorable, in a tragic, you still believe the system works kind of way.
Who do you want to kill first?
I'm not killing anybody.
Oh, this one. This guy looks extremely punchable.
Then the Knights of the Institute showed up. They didn't come to talk, they came to exterminate. I felt that familiar itch under my skin, the one that tells me it's time to stop being a girl and start being a problem. The door exploded inward. Dust and light flooded the room. I didn't wait for Ballister to finish his "we can resolve this peacefully" speech. I let the itch take over.
I promise, I will not breathe.
This is the part where you run.
My bones shifted, stretching and thickening. My skin turned that glorious shade of neon pink. Within seconds, I wasn't a teenage girl anymore. I was a 3-ton rhinoceros. The floorboards groaned and snapped under my weight. I lowered my head and charged. The first guard didn't even have time to raise his shield. I hit him like a freight train, the impact vibrating through my horn and into my skull. It felt alive. I threw my head up, tossing him into the ceiling tiles. 1 second, I was a rhino. The next, I was a lithe, muscular jaguar. I lunged off the wall, my claws screeching against the metal pipes. I pounced on a guard, pinning him down, then shrunk into a tiny, nimble cat just as a laser blast scorched the air where my head had been. The sound was a beautiful, hollow thud. Then came the grand finale of the escape. We were pinned in an upper corridor. The only way out was down, through several layers of reinforced flooring. I shifted into a humpback whale, a massive, pink, multi-ton aquatic mammal in the middle of a high-tech fortress. Gravity did the rest. We crashed through the floor, the wood and steel splintering like toothpicks. Then the next floor, and the next. We landed in the sewers with a splash that probably echoed all the way to the Queen's empty throne. After the escape, things got quiet. Or as quiet as they can be when you're living in a stolen van with a fugitive. We sat by a fire one night, the lights of the city shimmering in the distance. Ballister was looking at me differently, not with hate yet, but with a deep, nagging confusion. "Does it hurt, the shifting?" he asked. I thought about it. I told him it hurts not to shift. It's like a sneeze that's been trapped in your nose for 1,000 years. Staying in one shape, it feels like a cage. People like things to be one way. They like their knights to be noble and their monsters to be scary. But I'm everything and nothing.
You're a monster.
Do not call me that.
I didn't tell him about Gloreth then. I couldn't. How do you tell someone that the hero they worship, the girl whose statue sits in the center of the city, was actually your best friend? How do you explain that 1,000 years ago we were just 2 kids playing in the mud? She didn't care that I could turn into a bear or a bird. She thought it was cool. Until the adults showed up. Until the fear took root. She chose the sword. She chose the legend. And I've been running from that sword ever since. The climax wasn't just a fight, it was an execution that turned into a revolution. The director had turned the whole city against us. She played the footage of me, the monster, and the people did what they always do. They grabbed their pitchforks, or in this case, their high-tech laser rifles. When Ballister doubted me, I let the darkness in. I became the great black monster. I wasn't pink anymore. I was the color of a void. I was a mass of shifting shadows, eyes glowing like dying stars. I walked through the city streets, and every step felt like an earthquake. The military fired everything they had, missiles, energy beams, sonic pulses. It felt like mosquitoes biting a mountain. I wasn't even angry anymore. I was just done. I was going to let Gloreth's statue finish what she started a millennium ago. But Ballister stood in my way, not with a weapon, but with his heart. He apologized for not seeing me, and in that moment, the monster vanished. I was just me. But the director? She was the real monster. She didn't want peace, she wanted a target. She prepared to fire the wall cannon. It was a weapon designed to level mountains. I'm not going to let you kill you, I whispered to Ballister. I shifted. One last time. I became a phoenix made of pure, white-hot energy. My wings spanned the width of the city square. I felt the heat of the cannon's core as I flew directly into the barrel. It was a suicide mission, but it wasn't about dying. It was about finally being the hero of my own story. The explosion was a symphony of light. I felt my atoms scattering, a million pieces of pink stardust falling over the city I had just saved. I woke up. Well, I didn't wake up so much as I just started existing again. That's the thing about me. You can't really kill an idea, and you definitely can't kill chaos. I watched from the shadows as the wall came down. I saw Ballister and Ambrosius finally together, no longer bound by the Institute's lies. The city started to change. They stopped looking for monsters in the shadows and started looking at the horizon. I'm still here. I'm the weird shadow you see out of the corner of your eye. I'm the pink bird that steals your fries at the park. I'm Nimona, and honestly, the sequel is going to be even more metal.
Not call me that.